Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Rita's Book Club. This week I'm reviewing A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. You know from the last videos I've made about this series that I'm obsessed with it and I love all the characters dearly. This time we finally get to know more about my sweet Cassian and Nesta. Nesta Archeron has always been prickly proud, swift to anger, and slow to forgive, and ever since being forced into the cauldron and becoming high fae against her will, she struggled to find a place for herself within the strange, deadly world she inhabits. Worse, she can't seem to move past the hours of the war with Ivern and all she lost in it. The one person who ignites her temper more than any other is Cassian, the battle-scarred warrior whose position in Rysand and Fury's night court keeps him constantly in Nesta's orbit. But her temper isn't the only thing Cassian ignites. The fire between them is undeniable and only burns as they are forced into close quarters with each other. Meanwhile, the treacherous human queens who returned to the continent during the last war have forged a dangerous new alliance, threatening the fragile peace that has settled over the realms. And the key to holding them very might well rely on Cassian and Nesta facing their haunting pests. Against the sweeping backdrop of a world seared by war and plagued with uncertainty, Nesta and Cassian battle monsters from within and without as they search for acceptance and healing in each other's arms. I was so excited to read this book and get to know Nesta and Cassian more, since the last books were mainly from Fury's perspective. These two went through so much in their past and there was such a big space to explore the way that both of them dealt with the war and what they both lost during that time. Nesta wasn't dealing with things in a correct way and in a healthy way, especially her father's death and how she felt hopeless and even how she really felt towards Cassian. So it was really important that the family gave her that ultimatum in the beginning of the book so that she could get her head off her ass and finally deal with things in the right way. And I believe that Cassian was fundamental for that. With his nonsense attitude towards Nesta, he was never afraid to tell her how it was and to make her work for it. Besides Cassian, Nesta's friendship with Emery and Gwen was so badass and so lovely. These three women went through so many traumatic events in life, and they found an important common ground to aid their healing and their stubbornness to learn to fight, and how they became Valkyrie. I absolutely love that, and I know I always say this, but female friendships are so important and very much needed in these stories. And my sweet and lovely Cassian, I really loved him before, but in this book we see him through new eyes. We learn his story and the way he values and loves his family, their importance in his life since he was a child. And I guess we also see his insecurities and how he feels unworthy. I think that after putting their differences aside, Nesta really helped him feel worthy. And of course, these two are meant to be together. From the very first moment they meet in the books, we sense the chemistry and tension between these two, and it's amazing to finally see them act on it. We got so many sexy scenes. I mean, when they start, they just don't stop. But it was so amazing to see them be vulnerable with each other and realize that the push and pull they had was very important for their development as people. I have to mention that I also loved how the sisters finally found their way into each other. I think that it was very important for Nesta to actually take responsibility for her past in order for them to move forward and build a new relationship. Also, I got to say that I loved how the author explored even more the lore and introduced new aspects to it. It made the story so much more interesting, and it gives us so much more to be explored in the next few books, besides the possible romantic connections still needed to be explored, like Elaine, Lucian, Moore, and even Ezreal. I'm just so excited for the next books because there is still so much more to know. and to get to see what happens next to my face. As always, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at ritasbookclub for more content. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Happy readings.